Hello, Chandra Zas, Zen Odyssey. Welcome back to the weekly video, the weekly podcast, the weekly content production. I am really stoked you're here and I'm totally loving this process. I want to share with you guys a story from my real life that happened this last week about regret. I found myself spiraling into a space of regret, and I was able to help myself out with a little help from my man. What is regret? Regret is wishing that we had done something different. And my wish is, I have to tell you a little backstory for you to understand it. Since Corona has been happening, we have stayed in Spain 6 months longer than we planned to stay in Spain. And our flight that we were trying to get back to California has been canceled 5 times. So we've been doing our best, like I think everyone in the world, to keep life going as best as we could. And our next mission has become to buy an Airstream as our next home, as our next adventure home. We're really excited about this lifestyle choice and everything that comes with it, and all the challenges, and it's not going to be easy, but we're really, really stoked and excited. So the regret piece came in when we decided that we were going to buy an Airstream without ever looking at it, without ever physically being in it. We decided to go for it and do it all virtually. And I thought that we checked all of our boxes, and I went through all of the things that we needed to do, and I made sure that we could do it all online. We made sure that we could do it all online. And once we transferred the money and the title was mailed, we had 10 days to tell the California DMV that we had purchased this vessel. And we figured out that we cannot do it online. And we spent about 20 hours last week trying to figure out where we had gone wrong. We were on hold with the DMV for hours, searching their website, trying to figure out what was going on. And in the end, we figured out that because we had bought the Airstream from out of state, it was impossible to do online. It's one of the only features that California DMV is currently open to see people for, and it's a must. Big bummer. I did a little research. I figured out that the fines, that if we didn't get the vessel registered within 10 days, were looking pretty enormous. Unknown enormous, but some kind of enormous. And I started spiraling into a space of regret. I started blaming myself for not doing more research, not figuring out, not seeing this one little piece that I missed. And luckily, my man is brilliant, and he just kind of looked at me as I shared my thoughts out loud. He said, "Why are you choosing those thoughts? Those are totally not helpful." Or I think he said, maybe those aren't useful or something. And I kind of was like, oh my gosh, he's totally right. Regret totally goes in the category of indulgent, non-useful emotions. It goes in the pile with overwhelm, confusion, worry, self-doubt, victimization. Regret goes in there also. It's totally useless. It's like arguing with the past, like me blaming my past self for not realizing or seeing something. What good can come of this? What is the usefulness of this? How is this going to help me going forward at all? He was totally right. I closed my computer. It was like midnight, the 3rd night in a row. We were like trying to figure this out. I went to bed, and my mind was still latched onto this story, and I started doing some mental management, and I just said, okay, look, like this is not useful. Like I can feel my body getting stressed out. I can feel a night without sleep coming on. I was like, I don't want to go here. I know there's no point. It's not going to help me. I even thought, like, how much is this worth? Like, so if we're going to get like a $10,000 fine, what is the state of my health and me raising my stress levels worth? Is it worth that $10,000? And even if I stress, then is that going to help me? Like, there's no usefulness to the stress about it either. So luckily I was able to kind of like step out of my brain and see my brain and say, okay, this is totally not useful. Like, let's figure out a different thing to do. And I was like, oh, okay. All right, the story has stopped. The feeling of like, ugh, has stopped. And I'm still like wide awake in bed going, mm-mm. So I said, okay, well, since my brain's obviously still really awake, let's give it a good question. And I asked my brain, okay, how can I solve this? What can I do about this Airstream title issue? And then I just laid there for a few seconds and my brain is like, ask for an exemption. And I was like, of course, hello, why not? So the next day, that's what I did. I called the DMV, and this time it was only a half-hour wait as opposed to the other couple-hour waits where the call dropped. I talked to someone, and I told them our story, and I asked for an exemption, and they granted it. It was pretty awesome. And it was such a great aha moment and such a great realization of like, if I had let myself continue down that regret, self-blame, stress trail, like I probably would have been less clear-headed the next day. I would have been less slept, less rested. I would have been not my best. And we need our best when we're problem solving. We need the part of our brain that's able to solve problems and think about the future and think outside of the box. When we let ourselves get trapped in these emotions that just spin us in the past, spin us in a place that we can't find any solutions. Like my past self, the person who didn't find that one thing, she can't do anything about that now. I can do something about it now. It was really, really cool for me to have the opportunity to coach myself. And also my man is amazing how he's totally on all of this stuff also. Wanted to share that with you guys. Wanted to share my little regret aha story. And yeah, look for something in your life that maybe you're regretting and ask yourself, is this serving me? Is it serving me to have this regret? Is there a more useful way that I can look at this situation? Is there a better perspective that can serve me and help me move forward and move to where I want to go and what I want? So yeah, that is this week's topic. You'll find you can find me everywhere on Instagram, and my blog has a lot of this stuff. Some of it's a little bit of different information. And I also am starting a podcast this week. So you'll also be able to find me there if that's your preference of content consumption. I hope you have a beautiful week, and